So, let's talk about a very specific and I think very human experience. That moment when a friendship starts to feel like something more. It's a story that, almost always starts in the exact same place.
It starts with laughter, the really good kind, the kind where you can't breathe. It's that easy, effortless place where you can be 100% yourself with someone. There's no performance, no anxiety, just a pure, simple connection.
And right along with that laughter comes this incredible comfort. It's a feeling of safety, really. You trust this person, you get their rhythms, and they get yours. It's this relationship built on a solid foundation of just understanding each other. And this is the mantra, isn't it? We're just friends. It's the label that keeps everything simple, everything safe. You say it to other people, you say it to yourself, and for a long time, you totally believe it. Because for a long time, it's the absolute truth. And then it happens. Maybe it's a look that just lingers a second too long, or a text that just hits differently. It's this quiet little question that sneaks into your head, and suddenly that solid ground of just friends doesn't feel so solid anymore. All right, so let's really dig into that moment. That, wait, what? Moment. That's the pivot point we're going to explore first. That instant where a super simple friendship suddenly becomes incredibly complex. You see, the magic of a real friendship is that it's a total low pressure zone. You're not worried about defining things or what the future holds. There's no fear that one wrong move is going to end everything. It's just easy. But the second you throw romantic feelings into the mix, whoa, the entire equation changes. All of a sudden, you've got these heavy new elements: risk, vulnerability, and this crazy mix of hope and an equal amount of fear. The game is completely different. And that, of course, leads us right into the next phase, the internal chaos. This is where you go from that effortless comfort to basically having a full-time job analyzing every single little interaction. The overthinking has officially begun. This is that voice inside your head, right? The one trying to talk you off the ledge. You try to downplay it, rationalize it away. You tell yourself, oh, it's temporary. Because the alternative, risking this amazing friendship, just feels way, way too scary. You're trying so hard to put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, look at this. It lays it out so perfectly. Before, if they didn't text back right away, no big deal. Now, it's a complete spiral of self-doubt. Did I say something weird? Are they mad at me? Wait, who are they with? The exact same action now carries a totally different emotional weight. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What used to be the easiest, most effortless part of your day now feels charged. It's like there's this little electrical current running under every conversation, every silence. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is definitely not simple anymore. Okay, so you can't just ignore this feeling forever. And that leads us to the climax of this whole thing, the terrifying crossroads. This is that moment where you have to decide, do you say something or do you keep it locked away and hope it goes away? And what makes this whole thing so tough is this massive emotional imbalance. Your friend might be totally oblivious, just cruising along in friendship mode, while you're over here living in a different reality, imagining a future they have no clue about. That quiet little gap between you can feel incredibly lonely. So when you think about what you're really risking, it's so much more than just getting a no. You're putting that easy comfort on the line, the daily routine, that deep trust, and ultimately you're risking the beautiful friendship you already have in love. And this right here is the scariest part. A confession isn't just you saying, "Hey, I like you." It's you saying, "I am willing to let the entire dynamic between us change. Forever, for better or for worse." And just accepting that possibility, that's a monumental step. Okay, so once you say the words, once they're out there, the path basically splits in two. We're now in the land of consequences. And there are really only two major outcomes. The feelings are mutual, or they're unrequited. So let's say it works out. They feel the same way. Awesome, right? Well, it's not that simple. Even the best case scenario isn't a fairy tale ending. The friendship has to transform, and that brings up all these new, complicated questions. How do we make sure we don't lose the thing that made us great friends in the first place? How do we handle new expectations? The risk is still very much there. But on the flip side, if those feelings aren't returned, that sense of loss is just huge. And you're not just grieving a romance that never happened. You're grieving the friendship as you knew it. You're grieving the loss of that safe, uncomplicated space you used to share. So no matter which way it goes, there's always the what now. This next part is all about navigating the aftermath with some grace and maturity. Because how you handle this part, well, it matters just as much as the confession itself. The best way to handle it, the mature way, really comes down to a few key things. You have to acknowledge that things are different now. It means being honest about what you both need, respecting new boundaries, even when it's painful, and, this is a big one, allowing for space without letting it turn into resentment. And this is something I really want you to hear. Sometimes the friendship just can't go back to the way it was, but that does not make it a failure. It just means the connection was so real that it couldn't stay in its original box. Which brings us to a final, and I think really powerful idea. This whole experience kind of forces you to reconsider what that phrase, just friends, even means. Maybe, in cases like this, it was never just anything to begin with. Here's the truth that I think we don't say out loud nearly enough. If a friendship is deep enough for these feelings to grow and powerful enough to change everything, it wasn't a weak friendship that broke. It was a real, significant connection that just evolved beyond its original borders. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. Whether it turned into a romance, or a painful lesson, or just a memory, the fact that it could impact you so deeply simply means it mattered. And that is never, ever a failure.